Oftentimes when I walk into the classroom, I think about the future tense, that students one day will make a difference. But Meg really was my wake-up call that students can make a difference while they're still in college. I saw it in Meg then, and then I see it continuing in all that she does as a teacher, a community leader, and a mom. And it makes me very happy. I was always impressed with Meg that she had a cool head on her shoulders and was always in it for what she could do to become a better person, to become better educated, just to become a better citizen. I am not surprised that she is an academic leader, she's an outstanding mom, and she's doing great things in the Tulsa community. I think she's a wonderful role model, and I think those two young girls that she is raising are very fortunate to have a woman like that in their lives. I always think of Meg and her smile and her intellect and her generosity as just a light. And when you're around it, you can't help but smile.
He spent 4 years in the Korean War, and during that time had 27 flights that were 7 to 9 hours one way. As he says, fortunately they were all round trips. Just an amazing service that he did for this country. Since his time in military service, Mr. Stevens has gotten involved with the Korean War Veterans Association on a national level and also at a local level in Overland Park, Kansas. He's been nominated and awarded several times for medals and service awards from those organizations, but perhaps most notably having the opportunity to be recognized for his service as president of the association by President Obama a few years ago. It's humbling to see the kind of commitment and sacrifice that an individual such as Mr. Stevens has made in order to serve others. It makes him a very, very special individual.
Over the years, we've spent thousands of hours in conversation in the hallway outside of our office, often talking about important things like golf swings and how the NBA is playing this week, but also talking very seriously about kind of what's it like to be a student at Drury? What's unique about being a student at Drury? How are we going to organize our classes to actually be better in the education process for our students here at Drury? And Bruce was always committed to doing that. And it's, I think, one of the things that Drury does really well, and Bruce was a good example of, was somebody who was really willing to work with students as hard outside the classroom as he was inside the classroom. And sometimes that's maybe even more important. Sometimes helping keep a student on track, sometimes helping figure out kind of some extra effort that you need to put in to help a student get over a hurdle. And then once they're over that hurdle, they're ready to go again, you know. Bruce, I think, was kind of a master at doing that. Bruce was one of those people who always was working to make things better.
Tom's like a bulldog, and once he gets his teeth into something, he doesn't let go of it very easily. And he's really very detail oriented. They broke the mold when they made Tom, I can tell you that for sure. There's very few people I've ever been around that are like him. He is unique. You don't wonder very long what he's thinking, but he's always been very open-minded about what he does too. And I've developed a real fondness for Tom, and there's no question. He's one of my best friends ever. It would be hard to measure what Tom's done because he does so many little things over the years. He was an ambassador for Drury wherever he was. There's no question about that. It would be hard to imagine anybody that was more proactive in trying to move Drury forward than he was. Tom could have done a lot of things, and he could have spent his time in many, many areas. I'm sure he had opportunities and had a lot of tugging and pulling on him, but I think first love as far as his community service has been Drury all along. Couldn't have asked for somebody, I don't think, that was more dedicated than he has been to this place.
Drury tries to instill in every student the idea that they can succeed and they will succeed. He took a small business with a handful of people and turned it into an internationally known company. Over 160 employees, 4 area plants. I think that speaks of entrepreneurship.
He could find time to do a lot of other things on his own time that are fun. but he has simply chosen, and I do mean has chosen, to participate in these particularly charity projects. You look at the things that he does, and some people might get the impression, well, here's some big shot that sits around with his feet up at a desk giving orders. It doesn't work that way at their place. He is constantly involved in everything that they do, works harder than most people could ever imagine, yet still takes the time to participate in these various projects.
I have always appreciated the fact that no matter what, and no matter the fact that Dwayne's social status has increased, he still speaks to his friends from the olden days, no matter what they have.
You don't hear anybody say a bad word about Dwayne. I think that's cool.
Jim and Marilyn are both Drury alums and care about Drury deeply. They've been very active in supporting alumni events and alumni activities, supporting Drury financially, and then Jim came back and served as Drury's Chief Financial Officer. I had the opportunity to serve with Jim for several years, loved working with him. He's a great guy to work with. Jim introduced a way of helping us with our endowment based on a total return concept. His insight into money management has been very important. The endowment grew, and Jim was extremely important in helping us keep that corpus and making the most of it, investing it in the best way. Marilyn has been wonderful to support Jim and to support Drury. She has been very involved in the Drury Women's Association, the DWA. She's been a leader in that organization and also in alumni events and planning for alumni events. Jim and Marilyn are very down to earth. They are sweet people who care about Drury, there's no pretense, there's just genuine caring and interest. They care deeply, and they support the people they care about.